Hello there, and welcome to the first episode of Triton Squadron. I'll be one of your co-hosts for today. My name's Suthanth, and my favorite thing about Star Wars is probably The Last Jedi, tied up there with the Clone Wars.
Hello, my name is Brian. I'm your other co-host for today, and my favorite Star Wars thing is Darth Maul, but especially Darth Maul in the Clone Wars and just Clone Wars in general, and everything about all the Star Wars TV shows I love. And today we are joined by 3 of the original Star Wars Club at UCSD founders and the current president of the club. Let's start with Ishan.
Hi, that's me, one of the founders of the club. My favorite Star Wars thing has got to be Star Wars The Clone Wars, the TV show.
Bryce.
Hi, my name is Bryce. I'm one of the other original founders of the Star Wars Club here at UC San Diego. And yeah, I guess if you're noticing a theme, my favorite Star Wars thing is also Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show.
And we have Michael.
Hello there. I'm Michael, and I was one of the founders and still a part of the team. Favorite Star Wars thing, probably anything having to do with clones and or anything having to do with ships. I know way too much.
And then we have the current president of the club, Connor.
What's up, everyone? I'm Connor. I just like the way that Star Wars brings people together, although I may have misinterpreted the original point of the question as a favorite Star Wars thing. But yeah, I also like Lego Star Wars. I think that's huge.
Also very fair.
Before we get into anything, our podcast would normally drop once every 2 weeks, and we'll discuss anything relevant to topical Star Wars topics. That could be the latest TV shows, and we also have plans about going through trilogies. I believe we are planning for the Thrawn and Aftermath sometime in the winter, so look forward to that.
Yep, stay tuned for more information about Triton Squadron coming soon to Spotify, if it's not already on Spotify.
All right, so now let's get to the crux of our episode. We brought all our guests here to ask them, how did you meet? How did this Star Wars club start from the first place?
All right, yeah, I guess I can take that. Hi, this is Bryce. I'll take that. Yeah. So, a lot of us we were friends previously. So Anish was one of our friends previously. I knew Michael already. I knew Ishan already. We all kind of knew each other already. And we all kind of knew that we all really, liked Star Wars. And it was during COVID, when everything was online, and everything was virtual, everyone was looking for connection and trying to bring people together. Like Connor said, Star Wars brings people together. So Anish actually had the idea of, starting a Star Wars club here at UCSD because we didn't really have one, We had a lot of other clubs for a lot of different things. They have a bunch of different clubs here, like archery club, ski,
Lettuce eating club.
Lettuce eating club. Yeah, that's something that's definitely unique to UCSD. But we didn't have a Star Wars club, so Anish brought us together, and he DM'd me, and I'm pretty sure he DM'd everyone else, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to make a club?" And I said, "Okay, bet." So we got together, we made a Discord server, because that's what you did in the era of COVID. You made a Discord server to make a club, and that was how you made a club back then. And so we made a Discord server, and originally it was just the few of us. There weren't that many of us, and we weren't doing too much, and we started growing, and we started putting the Discord link in more and more places. I think we got kind of a jump off when the school year started, because we had just started, the school year started, and we got a lot of people coming in, and that's when things really started taking off.
Yeah, we actually, Bryce said Michael, him and I, we met before, but Anish and Nishant, we actually met online through Discord through another club, and we never actually met them in person for like a whole year and a half-ish, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I remember when the idea first came about. It was just we were in the just chatting in the Discord server of this other club, and one of us brought up that they like Star Wars and that there wasn't a club around, and then someone pitched the suggestion, "Hey, why don't we make a club?" And then we were all like, "Bet," and then we just did it. Yeah.
It worked out so well. It seems pretty straightforward of a process, pretty easy for you all, especially with your experience in other clubs.
Yeah.
See, what these two forget to mention is that it was always just a meme and a joke that, hey, and we all mentioned a Star Wars Club thing we all liked, and then we always just mentioned, hey, Star Wars Club when? And then at some point, Anish just said, screw it, let's do it, and then we all just kind of hopped onto the server.
It was a meme until it wasn't.
That is how all good ideas started. It's a meme until it isn't. Well, so because you guys started during COVID, did you guys ever wish that you started in person? Or is this whole Discord, like the club being on Discord, is that kind of like the ideal that you guys wanted?
You know, in some ways, I think the online format really helped us put it together, because if COVID hadn't happened, I don't know if we would have been able to like gather online in the same way. So in some ways that's a benefit, but I did really wish for a long time that we'd be able to meet up in person, because like I said, it was almost a year and a half before that was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say that getting started during COVID, allowed us to kind of get past a lot of the initial hurdles that come with starting a club. Like when you want to do something here at UCSD, there's a lot of bureaucracy that you gotta go through. Like to get a room, there's a whole lot of bureaucracy that you gotta go through. To do something like show a movie or show an episode of a TV show, there's a lot of bureaucracy you gotta go through. But with online, you can bypass a lot of those hurdles, because it's really easy just to get people in and hop into a Discord voice channel and just start chatting with people, It allowed us to really get past a lot of those initial hurdles that kind of trip up a lot of clubs when they're in person, and it allowed us to build a presence online that was a really strong foundation for the club, and even to this day is still the kind of the foundation of the club. The server is still really active, even though we have people meeting in person and there are events in person. It really allowed us to get that foundation and allowed us to build that in an area where it was a lot easier for us to build that foundation. So when we made that transition to in-person events and in-person stuff a year later, you already had this thriving community that was waiting and jumping to go in person.
Completely agree, especially the timing where Mando season 2 was coming out, and where it's like it was really easy to just have memes and or just conversations readily available, especially during a time where you couldn't have those conversations practically anywhere else. That server was a really good outlet for that. And it allowed us to really get a lot of people into it, especially because like just Mando in general allowed a lot of people to get into Star Wars that normally wouldn't.
Yeah, and for a lot of you guys who may not know, Mando is short for The Mandalorian. Obviously the hit TV series that came out, I don't know when, but it did start the whole Baby Yoda thing and brought in a lot of new Star Wars fans. So yeah, it's really nice hearing that Mando really got the club going. But like, do you guys think like maybe there was like maybe some part of having an in-person like format that was lost along with all the good things that came from it?
I think it would have just changed the club a little bit in certain ways. Right now, our club is very much a Discord server, and we host a bunch of events. And I think if we didn't have that, it might have been more of a like regular meeting, like, oh, we're gonna meet weekly, certain day, certain time, and it would have been a group of Star Wars friends gathering together. So I think it's certainly changed the club. I don't know whether that's for better or for worse. I think it's been great. I think now we're also trying to have some like longer term initiatives like this podcast and like the fan film, and that'll sort of help bridge the gap between some like more regular meetings and more regular doing things alongside of our events, which are sort of less frequent but still really fun.
And for those of you who don't know, does anyone here want to explain the fan film?
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about the fan film a little bit. That's something new that we're starting. And it's actually very early, so we're trying to make this as collaborative as possible. And so a week after our kickoff, we're going to close our submission form. Right now we have a submission form open where you can sort of send in any ideas you have as to what we should make for this fan film. And then it's like the broadest scope imaginable. And then we're just going to sort of take as much as we can from all of these and make the best sort of club project film we can. And we're just going to have an absolute awesome time doing it, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
And I believe that's just one of the many events we've planned for later in the year. I believe there's going to be a Halloween showcase about costumes, if I got that right?
That's right, yeah, we're planning on doing the Halloween thing October 30th, and that's, it'll just be a good opportunity to come out with some Star Wars friends and, last year actually we had a great experience where a lot of us went and trick-or-treated at Coastal's house, so we may end up doing something similar to that again as well. We'll see how things shape up.
Yeah, well, talking about the club's future, what were the founders' expectations for the club? Like, what did you guys seek to find when you guys founded the club?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. When we started, it was very, very humble beginnings. We just had that Discord server, and I think our first event was, it was me streaming and screen sharing the first episode of The Mandalorian to like 4 people. So it was a really small event, and like out of those 4 people, 3 of them were board members. Like it was Michael and Ishan and Anish. So a lot of those first events, they were really tiny. It was just us for a long period of time, and then it got bigger, and then people started coming in. We started getting more people. We had what we did in the beginning. We had this trivia bot on Discord, and it was really funny because you'd basically answer the trivia, and so Anish would create the trivia, and then we'd all answer the trivia, and it would reward. It was kind of like Kahoot, where it would reward you based on how quickly you got the right answer, and you'd get the right answer by reacting on Discord. So if you don't know what reactions are on Discord, they're where you can tag a message with a little emoji, and the bot had like the emoji 1 2 3 4 on the message, and you could tag the message which whatever you thought the right answer was, like kind of like a multiple choice poll. And so it was really funny, in those initial days, I was on a lot of those events, because we tried to tie the trivia events to the Mandalorian episode watch parties. We kind of did one a week, just trying to slowly work our way through season 1 in preparation for season 2, which was going to be coming out really soon. And so when we did that, some of the trivia was really obscure. Like there was some trivia that I didn't know, and okay, I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot of trivia that I didn't know. And so my strategy there was, be quick and hope that I'm right. So the funny thing about Discord reactions is you can see what other people's reactions were. So people started following me because they thought I was right. And was I always right? No. But we had some really humble beginnings when it was just a couple of us, and at least for me, I can't speak for the others, but I would say that this club has blossomed beyond my wildest expectations.
Yeah, definitely. That goes for me too. I could never have expected the club to be growing this big or to be doing this much stuff. I will say that, back in the earlier days, sometimes some of the officers would just like pitch some random thing that we could do in the future, half as a joke. Like I remember once Anish pitched the idea of, hey, why don't we go to Star Wars Celebration sometime as a club? And this was like maybe a year before we actually did go to Star Wars Celebration as a club.
Yeah.
So that is kind of neat.
So A, thank you, Bryce, for letting me watch Mando before I had a Disney Plus account. B, before it was kind of just a place for me to consolidate Star Wars memes. Hikey still is a place for me to consolidate Star Wars memes, but no, it was a good place to just talk about stuff that Hikey I wouldn't talk about most other places, because some things are also really obscure. Like I got through half the trivia knowing what was what, and then the other half, I was one of the people who followed Bryce Hikey. But no, it was fun. And then the fact that we got to transition and do more in-person stuff based on that, honestly, it's something really awesome to see, and I hope we can do more and attract more people to it.
Yeah, I think it's, we got just a huge community of Star Wars fans at UCSD. We're trying to bring as many people as possible into the club, and you don't have to be super involved either, but we just like having as many people tangentially involved as possible, I think. And hopefully some of our projects, like the initiative, like the podcast, like the fan film, can bring people together, and we can continue on this upward trend of expanding in a good way.
Yeah, and so going off of what Michael said, I think it's really cool that like everyone in the club has like their own range of Star Wars fanness, if that makes sense. Like we have people who like only watch the movies, and then we have people who've like watched all the movies, watched all the TV shows, read all the comics, read all the books, and like knows everything about the universe. So I think it's just really nice that like as a club, we can have such a like welcoming, like non-gatekeeper community.
We have everyone who have only came for Baby Yoda to people who are like living Wikipedias.
Yeah, I think I fall on the latter a little bit. I won't lie, but
I really like the way you put that, Michael, though. Couldn't put it better myself.
yeah.
Gotta say, really commend you for how much you've grown in the past maybe 2.5 years. From what I get, you started off at around 4 or 5, and now we're at more than 500 in our meetings. And yeah, I feel like, what are we going to be looking forward to in the future? I believe we have the fan film and podcast as like semi-regular ventures, but I believe we have a lot more events planned for fall and later in the year as well. So take it away, Connor.
Yeah, so we touched a little bit on what we're doing in October, with, you know, the Halloween party, costume contest, all that sort of thing, trick-or-treating Kosala. And then beyond that, I think what we want to do is have some more collaborative events. We've done some with Shane that are lightsaber choreography, so we'll do some more of that. We're planning on having a board games event, also sort of week 4, week 5-ish. And then we'll continue on. We'll have what sort of party? A holiday party. That's actually going to be more of a winter sort of thing. So, you know, first week of winter quarter, expect that. And then we'd like to have some collaborative events with Envision. We did a lightsaber building event that was very successful. So we'd like to sort of try and continue with that, maybe do some vacuum forming. Michael, do you have anything to add about that?
In before I get us the molds for Mando armor. Depends on how much time I have after class, but like we'll see.
I think there would be so many people very interested in having that. I think cosplay would be a very interesting area to expand into, especially, you know, heading into Halloween and people are really interested in having some cool costumes. And then also heading into the fan film where people will want to have, you know, some nice looking outfits to wear. And of course that'll depend a lot on what we end up going in that direction, because so much still is pretty unknown for that. But there's bright times ahead for sure.
Yeah, so it seems like there is a lot in the future of the club. Do any of the founders have anything else to add?
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since I've been, you know, actively involved in things in terms of day-to-day operations with this club. You know, I stepped back, you know, a while ago because I just had a lot on my plate. But, you know, it's really amazing to see where the leadership of this club has taken it and how far we've come. I remember, you know, those very first days, the very first people we welcomed into the server. I remember those very first discussions, those very first trivia nights, those very first watch parties.
Those daily poll questions.
Oh yes, the daily poll questions. You cannot forget those daily polls. We had daily polls in the server, so you could basically, someone would ask a question which had a number of possible hot takes to it, you know, and you'd say, which hot take do you agree more with? Or it was like, and it would bring out all the hot takes, you know, so, you know, there was always something new going on, you know, and it's really just a testament to dreams and to what people can do when they just, you know, have dreams. And they say when you say you want to do something and you just go for it, you know, and at some point, you know, it becomes bigger than you. And, you know, this club, it's now bigger than any of the founders. It's more than that, you know, there's more people and they're doing crazy things, and I can't wait to see where it goes next.
So apart from the founders and the original 5, is there any other people that were really crucial to the development of the club? I'm thinking of a few people like Shoshi and like Kunal. Can you speak to them or anyone else like them that was really helpful in developing the club to where it is now?
Yeah, definitely. So Kunal in particular, Kunal was one of our original, I think, graphic designers. So, you know, originally it was just the founder in charge of, you know, running things for the club. And it turned out that, you know, we didn't necessarily have all the skills that we needed. So what Kunal did is Kunal handled a lot of our original marketing and our graphic design, I want to say. Just correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding of what he was working on. So like our poster and things like that, if you've ever seen that was something that he created. And the logo, that was him too. Yeah.
Also some of our more high quality memes, Heike.
Oh yes, Kunal made some very fire memes. And Shoshi was responsible for, so actually Shoshi was actually originally, the position that Shoshi was in was a community position called, I think it was Jedi Librarian, right?
Librarian, yeah.
That was what Shoshi was doing at first, which was basically like a guest writer for a Medium blog that we had a while back, where I think we still have some posts on there that post occasionally, but it was basically a post. I think Anisha's posted on there like some book reviews and things like that, and Shoshi's posted them. Ronak, another one of the one of the first few members of the club has posted some things in there too. So it's been a lot of things like book reviews, essays, things like that. So Shoshi was originally one of the writers for that, and we brought her on in that capacity initially. And then eventually she went on to, become a full-fledged organizer, full-fledged board member when she got involved in, organizing our yearly events, organizing things like our annual and quarterly kickoffs and things like that, So definitely, there have been a lot of people who've been instrumental in the way this club has gone. And both those people in leadership, and also some notable community members, like Jeff. I don't know if y'all remember Jeff. Jolly Gray Jedi on Discord.
There, yep.
He's still there.
Active.
He's still active on Discord. Yep. So he's been there since the very beginning. I think he actually graduated here from UCSD and he went on, but he's still active on Discord. He's been there since the very beginning. So
Yeah, he's been active in those early poll questions that we mentioned before. Yeah, he was one of those people who was always, giving his thoughts on the daily poll question. And I think that was...
So about hot takes. Oh boy. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was a really good thing to help the club grow at the beginning, because that sort of thing just constantly generated discussion, kept having, dedicated members coming back to the server to keep arguing, having friendly debates.
Friendly debates.
Always nice to have our Force Ghosts involve themselves in more things.
I will say something I do really appreciate about the way the club has gone, and I hope continues to be, is that we try to allow different parts of the opinion spectrum to stick around, and everyone can, and in a space where everyone can get along and still have those different opinions and just still enjoy Star Wars because of that. A lot of people sometimes get really flamed for liking certain movies versus hating certain movies, and it's something the club we specifically aim to do and still try to do is just allow people to enjoy it to whatever level they do, whether they enjoy whether they go so far as on the derangement scale to enjoy the Christmas special, to just high key, as everyone says, liking the Clone Wars. People are allowed to stick around and just discuss and have fun with it.
Yeah, not everyone has to be a walking Wikipedia, as you said.
Exactly.
It's probably better that way.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the kickoff that I think Bryce mentioned earlier, the club fall kickoff, annual fall kickoff, will be this coming Thursday on October
6th, if I've got it right,
6th.
and I believe it's going to take place at the PC West Marshall Room.
Yeah, that's correct. And we're looking forward to seeing, as many people there as we can get. We're gonna have some Jamba Juice. It'll be a good time, just sort of to reconnect with everyone and have our in-person events for the year kicked off.
The event starts at 4 p.m., so hope to see all of you there.
Yeah, hope to see all you listeners out there. This is Triton Squadron, out.